Hey fellow Vault Dwellers, it's Angry Tartar, and we continue our series about perk cards. And now we are under Intelligence. And first we have Armorer. What you need to know about this card, it's important to remember that if you only care about ability to modify armor pieces, you need only rank 1 of this perk card. Rank 2 is to get cheaper crafting for armor pieces, not mods, armor pieces themselves, and max out rank allows you to craft high durability armor pieces. Then, as in this game, we rely on legendary armor, then rank 3 is quite useless, and rank 2 is only needed if you want to craft and scrap armor to unlock the mods. Batteries included. This one, it's doing exactly what it says, max out rank, 90% reduction to the energy ammo weight, therefore you can carry 10 times more energy ammo. And important note, 2mm ammo for ghost shotguns and ghost miniguns is energy ammo, the same as fusion cores are energy ammo, fusion cells energy ammo, and so on. Chemist, it costs you just 1 point, and you will get double quantity when you will be crafting chems, including steam packs, diluted steam packs, berry mentats, and so on. Doesn't apply to serums. Contractor. That's a very helpful perk if you are going to build a new camp or if you are claiming workshop to actually farm fusion cores. Therefore, as generators are quite expensive, with this card max out, it will be half price. Demolition Expert. Explosive weapons like grenades, rocket launchers, mini nukes are not so great overall. It does work on weapons with legendary effect that gives you explosive bullets, although it only applies to the portion of damage that is explosive splash damage. Okay, how to explain it in very simple way. Let's say your weapon is doing 120 damage. You see 120 damage in people and it's your explosive weapon thanks to legendary effect. Therefore, the explosive portion of the damage is 20. Then you apply this perk card and you boost this 20 damage by 20%, what means it becomes 24 damage. And that's mean that with rank 1 of this perk, your weapon is going up from 120 to 124 damage. And this bonus damage is explosive. And because it's explosive, you need to keep in mind that Scourge Beasts are quite resistant to explosions, and Scourge Beast Queen is almost immune to explosions. Then, basically, your weapon that with this perk card will be doing 124 damage versus normal mobs. If you fight Scourge Beast Queen, the 24 damage goes away, and then you apply all other reductions to your base 100 damage. Max out, this perk will give you 60% bonus damage to your explosion. And I don't want to drag this topic because it's a huge topic. Next, we have First Aid, and this is great perk, I really like it. I do not use it very often, but if I go to fight Imposter, or if I try to kill him solo, this is great, because I can max it out and my steam packs will be 45% stronger, what's a lot. Fix it good. If you are not using creeper kits to fix your stuff, this perk card max out will allow you to fix all your armor or power armor to 200% of normal condition. What is incredibly useful. Gunsmith. The part that guns break slower, it's not the most important, although for some weapons that breaks really fast, you can consider using it, because max out this perk card will allows your weapons to last twice as long. But you still need this card to put modifications. Usually you need like rank 3, and rank 5 is mostly for prime receivers and more advanced weapons. Hacker. This is equivalent of picklock that we already mentioned under perception, but for terminals. And it does the same thing as picklock, allows you to hack terminals, rank 1, rank 2, and rank 3. And side note, what's important to know about hacking terminals, your intelligence directly affects difficulty of hacking the terminal, which means higher intelligence, the less choices on the screen, what means easier hacking. License Plumber. That's a special perk for pipe weapons, and even though pipe weapons are overall not so great, if you have really good legendary roll, you can make it work. And this one allows your weapons to break slower and are cheaper to repair, and pipe weapons are already very cheap to repair. Nerd Rage. It is great perk for bloodied builds. Basically, the most important part is not the damage resistance, but at low health, when below 20% health, you will get 20% extra damage and some AP regeneration as well. Portable Power. All power armor parts and chassis weights are reduced by 25% up to 75% max out. It's one of the most useless weight reducing perks. Use whatever else unless you are carrying like 10 power armor frames with you. For 1 or 2 power armor frames, it's totally not worth it. Power Patcher. Your power armor breaks 20% slower, max out 60% slower, and is cheaper to repair. Generally, power armor is already breaking very slowly compared to regular armor, but the part cheaper to repair is quite useful. Then if you are not using repair kits to fix your power armor, this perk card is useful when you go to repair it. Pharmacist. Not very useful card, as Redaway is almost everywhere, although I am recently using it, at least from time to time, if I want to go into the nuke zone with my unyielding set, as this helps me save some of the Radaways, as you know, nuke zone is not very friendly if you are not using power armor or hazmat suit. Powersmith. You need rank 1 to actually craft mods for your power armor, rank 2 makes crafting power armor cheaper, and rank 3 makes durability of crafted power armor better. Power User. Fusion cores now last 30% longer, about twice as long if you max this card out, and what's important to know, it does apply to Gatling lasers that are using fusion cores as ammo, what means you can basically double up your ammo for Gatling lasers and ultrasight Gatling lasers. And of course it works in power armor as well. Robotics Expert. That's very useless perk card. You don't want to hack or pacify enemy robots. Good robot is dead robot. You kill robots and you loot them. Science. This allows you to craft energy guns, and upgraded will allow you as well to craft energy guns mods, rank 1 mods. Science Expert. You can craft rank 2 energy gun mods, and after you upgrade it, crafting energy guns cost fewer materials. It's very important to know, if you're going to craft energy guns and then scrap them for mods, you want to equip Science Expert rank 2. Although, side note, it does not work for whatever reason on new Ghost weapons, even though they are under energy weapons. Science Master. Rank 1 allow you to craft rank 3 energy gun mods, and upgraded allow you to craft energy guns with improved durability. Then we have Scrapper. If you need steel, that's your perk to use. It's greatly increase amount of steel you are getting from scrapping weapons. Mainly steel. This increases other stuff a little bit as well, but for me, it's go-to card if I need to farm steel. Just kill stuff, grab the weapons with Scrapper. Stabilized. Insanely powerful card for heavy gun, for heavy gunners. Unfortunately, using power armor is mandatory. Therefore, no unyielding armor farming for fast experience, only for power armor uses. But max out 40% armor penetration and great accuracy. You will really see the difference in both damage and accuracy. Whenever I go for heavy gunner build, and that's my favorite builds, and I wish power armor will get some nice buffs, then I'm going for stabilized. Weapon Artisan. This one basically allows you to repair your weapons to more than 100% condition. Max out will give you double condition on your weapon. Very useful if you are not using Reaper kits. Wrecking Ball. You deal more damage to workshop objects. My question is why this card even exists. And here we go into agility. First one we have Action Girl. Action points regenerate 15% faster, max out 45% faster. And important, it does stack with every other possible AP regeneration you can get, with food, with well-tuned, with AP refresh on your armor pieces. It does add up to everything else. Adrenaline. That is the most insane and powerful perk for overall damage. It works with everything. As you go and start killing stuff, your damage is going up to 36% with just one perk point invested. 36% is the highest overall damage boost that you can get from just one perk point invested. Unfortunately, it's not going too good when you start upgrading it, as it maxes out at 60%, what means it's not so great if you go above that, but still, if you care only about damage, max it out. If you care about how much you get out of your perk points, go for rank 1. Ammo Smith. You produce 40% more rounds when crafting ammunition. It's go up to 80% when you upgrade this card. Must have for everyone who's using guns. Born Survivor. That's a great card actually. It's available very early, then your new characters can have it, and for hard and challenging fights, even if you are bloodied build, you just heal a little bit more rats, equip this card, and likelihood of you dying during combat, it's greatly reduced. Covert Operative. This card is known to every stealth character, because it increases your damage from sneak attacks. Therefore, if you are Stealth Commando, Stealth Rifleman, or whatever other build that is using stealth ranged weapons like a bow, you want this card equipped at basically all times. Exception will be melee builds. Deadman Sprinting. There is one big issue with this card. People are using Speed Demon Mutation, and it does not stack with Speed Demon Mutation. Therefore, it's not useful. And even without Speed Demon, increased AP consumption to run faster and you need to be below 40% health? How is it even useful for anyone? Dodgy. It's a very powerful card, especially for PvP players, as it provides you a lot. Your incoming damage can be reduced by 30% if you have this card maxed out and it costs you 30 AP. As people during PvP spam a lot of Nuka Quantums, then AP is usually not a problem. 30% damage reduction is much better than whatever damage resistance or energy resistance you can get. Therefore, PvP players are using it a lot. For PvE, I do not recommend it too much, as you find yourself constantly without AP, and on everyday basis you actually need your AP to run, sprint, power attack, jump, whatever you want to do, you need your AP. Enforcer. That is perfect perk for crowd control. Basically grab any shotgun, possibly explosive, max out this card, and whenever you shoot, you will stop your enemies or cripple them on the ground and they will not be able to move anywhere. Only problem with this card, the biggest and most important enemies like Imposter Ship Squatch or Scorchbeast Queen are currently totally immune for being crippled. Therefore, this card is not so useful in those situations. Escape Artist. Apart from it says sneak to lose enemies and running no longer affects stealth, it's actually totally remove any noise from moving. Therefore, it is a great card for any stealth build. With this card, you do not need any muffle mods for your legs or anything like that. You do not make any noise when you are moving around. Therefore, you cannot be detected because of noise from moving. And second one, you can easily notice whenever you crouch, you are invisible for 1 second. This quite often allows you to go from danger to caution. It's not 100% guarantee, but quite often work. Evasive. each agility point adds damage and energy resistance. Max out card can give you maximum of 45 damage and energy resistance. That's a really good value. If you have 15 or more agility, these cards provide great value for everyone who wants to tank some damage. Goat legs. Max out will reduce fall damage by 80%. That's no good. We either want 0 fall damage, or we do not care about this type of cards. Gorilla. Automatic pistols now do 10% more damage. That's quite self-explanatory, and there is not too many automatic pistols. Max out 20% damage. Expert Gorilla, Master Gorilla, that is more damage doing the same thing. Gyanfu. This card is quite useful, especially for slow firing weapons, because it will swap targets for you when in VATS. You kill one target and it will swap for the next target. Usually slows down your VATS targeting a lot, and I prefer to just manually press VATS every time I kill something to instantly kill next and next with fast firing weapon. But there is another one small use case, or maybe not even so small. If you are a sneak build and you end up playing with a team, then this card will help you solve the problem. When you shoot a mob and it's not dying, but you are dropping from VATS without this card. If you equip this card, you will not drop from VATS and you will be able to do some follow-up shot and finish off the target. Gunrunner. Another pair card, same issue with Speed Demon. Only for pistols and doesn't stack with Speed Demon. That's all I have to say about it. Gunslinger. Non-automatic pistols now do 10% more damage, max out 20% more damage. New Ghost Pistol is non-automatic, then it's a pair card that goes with it. Then we have Expert and Master doing the same thing for more damage. Pistols, unfortunately, still quite low in the food chain. Com Defense. You can craft and disarm better traps and craft better turrets. It's mainly actually used to craft better turrets, not to disarm anything, as there is not so many traps or so dangerous traps in this game, but you still need it if you want to craft some fancy turrets for your camp. Light-footed. By sneaking, you never trigger mines or floor-based traps. It's not very useful, as in most cases I can just run through the traps and tank them, but you can consider it if you want, because it's just one perk point. If you have room, why not? Marathoner. Sprinting consumes 20% fewer action points. Max out, it will be 60%. And it does exactly what it says, that if you really need to save some action points while sprinting, yeah, go for it. Mr. Sandman. At night, your silence weapons do an additional 25% sneak attack damage, 50% when max out. And it's amazing card just because of how much extra damage it gives you, and it works 50% of the time during the night. That's mint. And what else you should know, to get max out of this card, if you are a sneak build, take off your covert operative, equip your Mr. Sandman first, then covert operative, and during night you will get 3.75 extra sneak damage. That's a nice multiplier. Modern Renegade. Gain pistol hipfire accuracy and 2% chance to cripple a limb. Max out, it will be even more accuracy and 6% chance to cripple a limb. And I will not say it's a great card, but if you are using pistols and you don't want to use VATS because it doesn't do anything really in VATS apart from this really small chance to cripple something, then you can go for it. Moving target. Gain 15 damage and energy resistance while sprinting. And that's a problem. While sprinting. Therefore, it's doing about the same thing as evasive per card, but evasive works all the time, and this one works only when sprinting. Then, yeah, it's a no for me. Too weak. Ninja. That's like covert operative, but for melee damage and with higher multiplier. It's up to 3 times bonus sneak damage when maxed out. Fucking light. Your pistols weigh 25% less, 75% less when maxed out. And the question is, how many pistols will you carry to justify use of this perk card? Secret Agent. Your stealth voice lasts twice as long, 4 times as long if maxed out, and that's definitely a card for PvP. As in Adventure, I do not see too much need to use stealth voice. Sneak. You are 25% harder to detect while sneaking, max out 75% harder to detect while sneaking, and yes, it does stack with all other bonuses you can have from your armor or whatever sources. Therefore, it is great perk card for any sneak build, possibly max out. The more, the better. True Hiker. Food and drink weights are reduced by 30%. Max out it will be 90%. And it's actually a great perk card, especially for melee builds, because as you know, melee builds can get a lot of boost from food. And with this card, you can carry more food. Or you can use Grocer's Backpack that do exactly the same thing. White Knight. Your armor breaks 20% slower and is cheaper to repair. Max out it's 60% bonus, and actually, I'm using this card on my non-power armor tank builds. Because if you tank a lot of damage, it's quite annoying how fast armor is breaking. That's not a power armor but regular armor. And this perk card helps a lot to mitigate that. And we have no more time to go over luck perks. Then luck will need to have a separate episode. At this moment, thank you a lot for watching and see you guys in the next one.